So it's the weekend of anthologies. Amazon Prime Video has created an anthology of 5 stories with 6 Hindi film directors. If you remember, just a few months ago, the same platform had created an anthology with Tamil directors called Putham Pudukalai, which focused on stories of hope during the nationwide lockdown. Even though the final product was quite a mixed bag, making you empathize with some stories but apathetic towards others, Karthik Subbaraj's story Miracle really stayed with me. Irrespective, now we have an esteemed list of Hindi film directors that are going to present a variety of experiences during lockdown through their stories and unpaused. The stories range from a financially underprivileged family that squat in a vacant apartment and finally see the contrast in physical form of their life compared to the affluent, an elderly woman who allows a resident of the same building to stay with her in her house as she is tormented by a rodent that is causing mayhem in her abode, a woman who is on the brink of ending her own life due to a personal trauma caused by an abusive relationship that has ramifications in her professional life as well, a hypochondriac in a world where COVID has mutated itself consecutively to a point where it's just a part of everyone's life, and he stumbles upon a beautiful woman working in the medical field and an odd but beautiful bonding and relationship that develops between an elderly woman and an auto rickshaw driver. Anthologies are always a mixed bag, some deeply affecting the viewers while others just pass by, so it's inevitable that your favorites will differ from mine, but I will tell you about the stories in ascending order from which story I resonated with the least to the one that really touched me to the core. So let's just go for it. Number 5 goes to Rat-a-Rat by Tanishta Chatterjee. The story focuses on Lilette Dubey, who is a 65-year-old woman living in a house during lockdown. She comes across a girl living in the apartment upstairs who seems rattled because of the existence of a rat in her house. While Lilette's character puts on a tough exterior, developing a personality that is notorious in the colony, she eventually is benevolent enough to help out the girl in both trapping the rat as well as allowing her to stay in her house. What the short story successfully does is providing the contrast of two different generations, one who can falter and make mistakes while still looking forward to the future, and the other reminiscing and reflecting on the what-ifs on the life that has passed by. While both the characters due to lockdown living with one another could have developed into an interesting back and forth, the short film does the bare minimum in making you invested or care for the characters. Both Lilette Dubey and Rinku Rajguru perform brilliantly, but the average writing really lets the product down. The convenient resolution to the emotional baggage and a backstory intended to draw you in are, from a storytelling standpoint, extremely weak. Number 4 goes to The Apartment by Nikhil Advani. This short film focuses on the life of Devika, who is going through a personal and professional crisis and is contemplating suicide. The film, based immediately after the declaration of the Janta curfew, aims to shed light on the psychological toll that self-isolation takes on characters. The walls start closing in, the light at the end of the tunnel seems further and further, and there seems to be no hope in life when presumably everything is going against you. But fate has its ways of assisting and reminding characters that there is still hope. Both the main actors, Richa Chadda and Ishfaq Singh, have done a brilliant job in the film. The exuberance of Ishfaq countering the despondent mood of Richa works really well. What especially does wonders for the short film is the screenplay that builds up perfectly for the last 5 minutes, encapsulating the theme of hope and the dialogue of the short film really well. Problem चाहे जो भी हो, choice हमारी है. Problem का साथ देना है कि solution का. Number 3 goes to Chand Mubarak by Nitya Mehra. This beautiful story showcases the odd but beautiful relationship that develops between an elderly woman and an auto rickshaw driver during lockdown. Uma, played by Ratna Pathak Shah, is a self-sufficient individual that is proud of taking care of herself during these troubling times, but is assisted by Rafiq, played by Shardul Bharadwaj, to run her errands. Uma is anxious of the times and the people that surround her, but finds it a blessing to have a soul like Rafiq in her life during this time. The short film is a brilliant reflection of how humans are in this together, and these unique times often lead to the development of the most beautiful relationships that may have not developed during the time we consider to be normal. If you don't know Shardul Bharadwaj, he's the talent who featured in the masterpiece E Baleu, which I will cover soon, and he possesses such confidence and ease while sharing the screen space with a legend like Ratna Pathak Shah, who as usual will impress you. The empty streets, the auto rickshaw rides, and the conversations between these two characters, who have polar opposite views on life, really developed a warm sense of fuzziness inside me, a film that will definitely leave a smile on your face. Number 2 goes to Vishanu by Avinash Arun, a short film that tackles the reality of so many individuals from our country. The plight of migrant labourers is the Avinash Arun directed film Vishanu. From the first frame itself, you identify that this is his space. The large expansive shots of the empty streets and the vacant construction sites provide a grim but real image of the new normal that existed for so long. The film focuses on a couple that is squatting in a plush, sample apartment and are finding solutions during the lockdown to find a way back home to Rajasthan. This is a film that tells you stories of the people directly affected by the pandemic, fearful of the uncertainty in the future, anxious from where their next meal will come from. The apartment in the high-rise building is a representation of affluence and wealth. Their condition and life, in this instance, is nothing but the contrary. Both Abhishek Banerjee and Gitika Vidya Olyan are extremely sincere in their performances. It has a beautiful moment where you think it's headed one way but showcases a really endearing and heartfelt moment of the simple pleasures in life. The short film is a reality check for many if you think the pandemic has really hit you hard. Number 1 goes to The Glitch by Raj and DK. One of the major reasons why this short film ranks to the top position for me is because it literally has the foundation to transform into a full feature film. A lot of it has to do with the vision of creators like Raj and DK, who with their beautiful attention to detail transport us to the world 12 years after COVID-19. This is a society where 6 million people have died. The virus itself has mutated several times, and the only form of normalcy individuals experience are the conversations with their voice-activated machines at home. I wouldn't want to ruin more details regarding the short film, as the world created is fascinating to explore as the minutes pass by. Trust me, it's a beautiful canvas for a feature film or a series on its own. The unique production design by Saini S. Jore will really stand out through this film. Ahan, played by Gulshan Devaiya, a hypochondriac who in an inventive sense stumbles upon Sayami Khair, a medical professional, provides a glimpse of what possibly could be a foreseeable future for romance. Something presented with Raj and DK's iconic dry humor but is horrifying in many ways. I love Gulshan's creative choices, and this film really will make you fall in love with the artist. His conversations with his voice-activated machine named Mala and his need to keep himself occupied garnering several degrees is a hilarious touch by the creators. The film, while I pray to God will not be our new normal, is a very inventive take, a dearth of which we see in Hindi cinema, and it was honestly a breath of fresh air. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what were your favorite stories from the anthology. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.